is put this on the YouTube. Tonight's going to be an experiment a little bit for me. I'm sure some of you know how to do the, hold on, they're going to get feedback. Okay. Nope. Okay. I think we pretty much avoided that. Hi. All right. Here's my question. Can I, at any point, choose to screen share? Is the answer no? The answer's no. Okay. So in a little bit, here's what I'm going to do. We are live on YouTube and on Facebook. Most of you typically watch on Facebook, which is great. But in a little bit, I'm going to share my screen. And because I didn't start doing it that way, I can't do it that way as far as I know, unless there's things you guys know that I don't know, which I know there's things you know that I don't know. So many things you know that I don't know. Hold on, let me get my life together. I'm really so excited to be live with you guys tonight. And I have a lot to tell you. Who is knocking? Hold on, sorry. Feedback again. My bad. 100 things. I've missed you guys too. So I am using, so here's the thing. We want to be on YouTube and on Facebook at the same time. Amy's saying if you use Zoom to broadcast to Facebook, I can. That is true. However, I'm using Zoom to broadcast to YouTube. Therefore, I can't use it to broadcast to Facebook at the same time. So it's tricky. So what I am saying is in a little bit, I'm going to share my screen with you. And if you are on Facebook, you're not going to be able to see it. But if you're on YouTube, you will. So I don't know if that means you want to go to YouTube now, or if that means that here's the problem with YouTube. I didn't think this through. I'm not going to be able to see your comments on YouTube because I'm not actually on YouTube. I'm just broadcasting on YouTube. Oh, wait. Nope. I have a solution. I got this. Don't you worry one bit about it. Can y'all hang with me for like 1 second? Thanks for joining us for Online Steps to Success tonight. I really, really am super excited tonight because I have, you know me, it's been a weird year. I don't know. It's been a weird year for you guys. It's been a weird year for me. It's been a weird year for everybody. But it's been a weird year for me, I think, in Online Steps to Success too, because I haven't been super consistent. And I think last year I was really consistent and I felt very like, oh, this is what we're doing and this is what we need to do. I'm pulling up comments on YouTube on my other computer, which was the smarter thing to do. I'm going to get it together, y'all. I'm going to get it together. We are going to make this happen. But anyways, tonight I'm really, really excited. Okay, now I can see your comments on YouTube because I'm watching on YouTube over here. I think I'm going to be able to see your comments. Actually, let me move Facebook over here. You guys, oh, sorry, hit the mic. Does this ever feel, oh. Am I the only one who overcomplicates things? Yay, okay. Now I can see comments from YouTube over here and I can see comments from Facebook over here. So later, yes, the YouTube link is youtube.com/Allison Dalkey, which is just my name, which where am I commenting here? Thanks, Leanne. You're being so gracious with me right now, and I just want to hug you. So if you'll just type that in after youtube.com/Allison Dalkey. Okay, I got it. I feel very smart. Actually, I feel like I should have figured that out a long time ago. I was trying to figure it out before you guys got on, but it was just too much. Okay, welcome to Online Steps to Success. I'm so glad that you're here. I really am so glad you're here. Y'all, back up. See, it's been so long, I don't even know how to do this anymore. Let me tell you what we're doing. I tell you who I am. Man, that looks really bad, doesn't it? I hit my finger in the kitchen cabinet. I know, so dangerous. I nearly jammed it up. Okay, here we go. Let's pretend we're starting now. How about that? Good plans? Okay, great. So thank you so much for joining us. My name's Allison Dalkey. If we've never met, I'm glad that you're here. This is Online Steps to Success, where I show up occasionally. You never know when. Actually, you know tonight because I'm here, and next Thursday because I already have a plan, and so I'm excited about that too. And next year there will be more of a routine, I swear, I promise. Anyways, my goal here always is to help you dream big, work smart, change yourself, and change the world with your business. And I believe that you can do that. It's happened in our lives. It continues to happen in our lives. And I want that for you. And so everything that we talk about on Online Steps to Success has to do with one of those things: dreaming big, working smart, changing your life, or changing the world, or sometimes all of them together. So I'm really glad you're here. Tonight, specifically, we are going to really talk about finishing the year strong. I have some things to share with you that are just kind of super vulnerable, honestly. Like, if we've never met, or if you haven't watched much, I'm one of those people. Hi, Phaedra. Oh my gosh, I miss your face so much. It is so good to see your picture. I also have not been on social media all year. And except if I was like doing a broadcast, pretty much. I think I have like 2 posts for the year or something. And so I feel a little disconnected, but not. Like, I feel really connected to the people that are really close to me. And I feel really good emotionally. I got on today actually just to pull up Online Steps to post a post that we're going to go live. And I was like, oh, I really hate this. I know I shouldn't say that while I'm on Facebook, but it's just true. So I can share a little bit about that later. And we have a whole series coming next year about taking your business off social media, because it is the most requested topic that we get over and above anything else. So I'm excited about that. But tonight we want to talk about finishing the year strong. I told you I have some things I want to share with you that are a little bit just honest and real, and just where I was and kind of the place I got to this year. And I'm hoping that you can relate somehow, maybe, that you'll feel like it was, whatever I have to share is relevant to you. So here's the thing. I'm just going to jump in. I have like very few notes. This was one of those days when I really tried to write everything out. And then I was like, I just can't today. I just really need to speak from my heart. So, lately, just this year, I think I've had a hard time going live unless I had something really intentional I wanted to say to you. It's one thing to like plan out content, and yes, I can do that. And yes, that's been beneficial at times, but this has just been a weird year. It's been a weird year for all of us. It's been the messiest and most beautiful year I think a lot of us have ever experienced. And so I don't know what to do, honestly, with messy and beautiful, really. And I spent a lot of this year, I'm just going to be super, super vulnerable with you. I spent a lot of this year really angry, like just angry about the culture or just the climate of our culture in terms of just constant disagreement about everything, racial issues and political issues and sickness issues, and what do we do about it, and what's right and what's wrong. And it's just nobody can agree on anything. And I just spent the year really angry, honestly, just like mad, angry. And for those of you who know anything about the Enneagram, I'm a 1 with a 9 link. So there's a lot of anger that I have to like work through. And I think everybody kind of spent the year in some stage of their worst form of themselves at some point or another, whether that was in anger or in sadness or in denial or in whatever, right? Like, I think we all kind of tried to deal and cope, whatever. And it was really hard. Last year, I had all these dreams and these plans. Like, I was looking through my journal of things that I wrote about the beginning of 2020, right? Like, I was so excited of like, I felt like it was my first very adultish new decade. I know that I watched another decade come in my 20s, but it was different. And I felt like I just, like it's a brand new decade. Like, all these great, beautiful things are going to happen. And then, right? Like, I feel like every goal I set, everything that I wanted to do just sort of flew out the window into complacency and into, well, can't do that. Like, I mean, just personally for Brian and I, like, we had our big kind of dream this year was to have 20 couples in our home. 20 in 2020 does not sound great. Like, it just sounded good. And we had 2. We ended up having 2. And it was right. Like, it was the right thing, and it all worked out. Like, it's just, I think sometimes our plans and our dreams are not the way, like, God sometimes has a different plan. And so, but still, I spent a lot of the year angry and frustrated, and just, I got to the place, I was having lunch with a friend today where I just said, like, I got complacent. I just got complacent with who I was and what I was being called to do. And instead of standing in light and being light to the world, and moving my business forward, and being proactive about things, I just kind of survived. I think we all, to an extent, did just some surviving. And the sweet and beautiful thing about that is, if you're in Scentsy, like, we had some of the most amazing months that we've ever had, like, despite my complacency. And granted, I was really, that's the other thing, is I did make a big shift and was working really closely with my team and really, really building leaders intentionally this year. But still, I think in terms of what I know is next for me, and what I feel like I'm being called to do, and the thing that's like stirring in my heart, I just kind of let it sink to the wayside. And that's really what I want to talk to you about tonight. Is I want to talk to you about whatever that thing is, the reason that you're doing this business, the reason that you want this, like, whatever that big dream is that maybe you either kind of just got complacent on this year, or maybe you really pushed forward and made it happen. I just want to talk about, how do we finish strong? How do we, like, whether this year was a disappointment to you or whether it exceeded your expectations, whatever it was, how do we finish strong? Like, we've just got a few weeks left, right? And I'm not just concerned about you finishing with your business strong. I'm concerned about you finishing well with your family, with celebrating Christmas, with really being intentional about the work that you're doing. That's what I'm concerned about. Like, I want those things for you. I want you to feel like you can finish strong. And so we're going to talk about some of those things today. So, yeah, a lot of you are saying it's been a hard year. It has. So, okay. I have to start with this. I've had a really crazy week, in terms of, and again, I'm just going to be honest with you. Like, this is just, if we were at coffee together and I was telling you about my week, this is what I would say to you. So I don't know all of you personally, but I'm going to have a conversation with you like I know you personally. I've had a crazy week, where I think I just went from, so I was feeling, a lot of anger and a lot of tension, and not like physical tension, but like, I don't know, I guess emotional tension. Hi, Heather. I'm glad you popped on. I know you'll watch this tomorrow. So I think it was just like this, it was holy tension. It's just like this tension of, there's something else that I know I should be doing, but I'm not. And so I was actually telling my team this yesterday. We were on a small group chat, and I said, here's the thing, like, we can't take care of other people. We can't lead well. We can't run a great business. We can't be great mothers and wives and friends and daughters if we're not taking care of us. And I fell into the lie this year that I was taking care of me, or that I was resting, maybe, like that it was rest. I don't know what lie I thought it was, by watching one more show on Netflix. Like, Brian would fall asleep. We would, sit down to watch our show. He would fall asleep after one show or whatever. And I watched 3 more, and I'm up until 2:30 in the morning. Friends, that's not self-care. Or having one more glass of wine. Like, it's not self-care. For me, 100%, it was me running from the holy tension that I was feeling, knowing that there were other things I was supposed to be doing. And I think what I want to say to you today is, like, God's not going to wait on your life to get convenient for him to call you into something greater. For those of you who have watched for a long time, I started writing a book last year. So let's back up a couple of years. So Tuesday of this week was 8 years, not 8 years, 4 years. It's the December 8th. 4 years since I had a prophylactic bilateral mastectomy. I carry both BRCA1 and 2 genes, and it was a preventative surgery that I've never had more peace about any decision in my life. But the past 4 years have just been one of reconstruction, and on my body, physically, in my heart, in my soul, in my mind, every single part of me, I feel like has been reconstructed in the past 4 years. And a couple of years ago, I really knew that I needed to write this story down. Like I needed to write down the story, even if it was just for my kids, even if it was just for like, I didn't even know who, I just knew I needed to write it down. And so, made plans to write a book. And so last year, that was the goal. And my goal was to finish writing by my birthday, which was December 21st. And I did it. And I mean, I did it. Let's say I did it. The first draft is done, but it's 45,000 words. It needs 65,000. It needs a lot of work. Like it just needs a lot of work. And I knew that in the beginning of the year, and I knew it needed work, but I felt good having done the thing that I knew I was supposed to do. But I kind of like intentionally took a break, and then it was March, and then Corona, and then all the things, right? The whole world changed. And I got angry. And then I got, honestly, then I just started to hide. I don't like conflict. And I don't like doing something unless I know it's right. But I also don't want to do something that I think is going to offend somebody. None of this has anything to do with anything like, it's just, that was our entire climate of the world. It was like, I felt like I couldn't even go to the store without conflict. You know, like it was just, I don't know. There was just so much going on. And instead of being light and all of those things, I just hid. And it became really, really clear to me this past week, this tension that I was feeling, this almost like, I know there's more. Like, I know this isn't it. I know we're in like pandemic and whatever, but I know there's more. I realized this week that it is just as big of a sin to play small as it is to over elevate yourself, as it is to be full of pride, right? Like there's a beautiful middle place that we all have to land. The easiest thing in the world to do is to play small. The easiest thing in the world to do is to settle. The easiest thing in the world to do is to be complacent. And I just got to the place where I couldn't stand it anymore. I couldn't stand being complacent anymore. I couldn't stand settling. Like I knew there were all these other things. And I realized the story I'm telling you is super personal, like about a book, but I want you to relate it to your story, like whether that's in your business or that's in your, whatever it is, like whatever dream you're chasing. So it came to like, I realized like, I've got to finish this book. I just kind of started having these conversations like with the Lord, like, okay, like, I don't know, like if I write this book, then what? Like, do I have to show back up on social media? Do I have to like market myself? Do I have to like say things like, I have to get an agent, and then I have to try to get it published. And then how many times do I have to hear no? And my mind is like going through all these other things that one, I don't have any control over right now. And two, that are irrelevant right now, right? Like they're irrelevant. I haven't finished the book. And so it's irrelevant. And I wonder if today you're in the same place in your business where you're overthinking something, or you're thinking about the X, Y, and Z of what's going to happen what's going to happen when I get my first recruit. Then I got to train them. Then I got to do like, what do? I don't know what to do. Right. You're overthinking everything. Maybe it's the same. Maybe you're in that space where you can see promotions happening. Like you're getting close to director. Like, then what do I do? What am I going to do when I get there? Like, then I have to do more, and I have to be responsible for more. And listen, why do we let ourselves stall out on a dream thinking about all the coulds and shoulds and woulds and ifs without just doing the next right thing? There are next steps right in front of you, things that you need to do right now that yeah, there's going to be something after it. Yes, you're going to have to make another decision later. Yes, you're going to have to do something different later. But what about right now? What's the thing that you have to do right now to take your goal or your dream one step further, right? don't overthink the big parts of it. I think the Lord just kept whispering to me, I didn't ask you to worry about any of that. I didn't ask you to worry about any of that. I asked you to write a book. Oh, okay. Right. I didn't ask you to worry about any of that. I should run your business. I should chase this dream. I should build this thing. Don't let whatever you're chasing be stalled out or stopped by you overthinking what's going to happen on the other side. It's not your place to worry about it right now. It's one thing at a time. That's doubt. All of those things are doubt. And it's doubt that kills more dreams than anything else ever will. Did you need me? Not funny.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Which one about 8:30?
Okay, great. Love you. Sorry. So that, okay. First of all, I want to hear that. Like, that's just where I think I landed in this just big realization of like, if I play small, if I shrink, it's just as bad as if I put myself on a pedestal, right? It's just as bad as if I stand full of pride. Oh, I'm throwing things. So I think what I want for all of us is to find that middle, like that sweet spot in the middle where we say like, okay, this is my lane. This is where I'm supposed to be. And here's another thing I want to say to you. Like, it's not about winning. And it's not about being the best. And it's not about being the next. And I think that's something that stalls us out in our business a lot. Like, oh, I have to be the next so-and-so. Or like, I want to be better than X, Y, and Z. Or like, I look up to this person and I want to be like them. No, the world doesn't need another them. They're already there. We want you. We want you to show up with your gifts and your talents and your perspective and what you have to bring to the world. I don't want the next anything. I don't want the next superstar director or the next best one or the next one that looks like somebody else. I want you. I want you to show up as you. We spend too much time thinking about and comparing ourselves and measuring ourselves and running a race against other people that we're not even in a race against, right? That's not how it works. Just because you're in the same business or you're in the same whatever, you're like working for the same goal, you're not in a race. You're running your own race. And it's when we keep turning our heads sideways and getting distracted by what everybody else is doing that we can't finish our race strong. So I don't want that for you. I want you to finish your race strong. Okay, so let's talk about how we finish this year strong. Now, some of this is going to be super, super, super relevant for some of you. And some of you, here's who it's going to be relevant. Honestly, this is who I'm talking to today. Those of you that this is your business, this is your job, you rely on this for your income, you're building a team, you have people that rely on you. That's really who I'm talking about today. Those of you who are in the early stages of your business, it may not be as relevant to you right now, but one day I think that it will. I think one day you'll come back and be like, I remember her saying that one day I would need to do this. And now you do. So let's talk a little bit about that. I'm really going to hit 2 points today on how you finish this year strong, personally and professionally. And the first one is by taking care of you first. Remember earlier when I talked about you watching one more show on Netflix or staying up a little bit later or having one more glass of wine? That's not taking care of you. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with drinking wine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Netflix. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that when you're doing it to escape what's actually happening in the world or to self-sabotage, which we all do sometimes. We self-sabotage so we don't have to do the thing that we know we're supposed to do or that we're called to do. Because here's what I want you to understand. And I want you to think about this. I want you to think about it. Just nobody else is watching you right now. This is between you and yourself. How many times have you done something self-destructive to keep you from being good at your job, at this business, at being a leader or director? Maybe not intentionally. I'm not saying intentionally. But I'm saying sometimes we self-sabotage ourselves. Sometimes we stay up too late and then we have to reschedule something. Or sometimes we stay up too late and then we're tired and we're distracted and we can't focus on what it is that we need to do and what we're called to do, right? Just think about it. One of the best ways that you can finish this year strong is by actually taking care of you. And I know that for those of you who are mamas and wives and you have babies at home and you might be working a full-time job too, taking care of you feels oftentimes very selfish. I did a 60-minute workout at home the other day and I was like, man, I feel kind of bad about this. Granted, my kids were all at school. Like my kids were all at school and Brian wasn't even here. Like I literally was alone how ridiculous is that? I was like, it's so ridiculous that I feel bad about doing a 60-minute workout. And we have to do those things for us because we can't pour from an empty pitcher into somebody else's cup. If it's empty, it's not going to pour, right? And some of you, just quite frankly, you're trying to pour from empty. And it's why things aren't working. Why you're not being effective. It's why nobody's listening. It's why nothing's resonating. It's why you feel like you're pulling teeth to get people to do anything. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Period. And so therefore you have to do things to take care of you and you have to do things that are actually taking care of you. And I don't know what that looks like for you, but I think that you just have to be honest with yourself. For me, it's moving my body. If I don't move my body every day intentionally, whether that's going for a walk, whether that's working out, whether that's doing yoga or barre, or running, I really am just a different person. And part of that's because I hold a lot of anger and resentment in my body if I don't process it. And I process through my body. So it's like essential for me to move. It's not going to be that. It's not going to be the same thing for all of you. Some of you may just need just straight up quiet time alone. Like I do take excessive amounts of time alone to recharge. My husband, total opposite. It's like if you leave him alone too long, he might cry, and he never cries. It's like, it's not how he recharges, but it is how I recharge. So it's so vital and important that we know ourselves and we know how to best take care of ourselves. I mean, it's probably, you guys, it's not rocket science. It's like drink more water, eat a salad every once in a while, go to bed on time. Don't watch one more episode of Netflix. Turn it off, 1 or 2 glasses of wine is fine, but 3 or 4 is probably not, right? You know how to take care of yourself. Do those things intentionally over these next few weeks. I know it feels like a lot, like you're trying to manage Christmas and holidays and everything looks different in the world and your business. I know all those things. You can still prioritize you because I promise you, when you prioritize you, you're going to be better for all the other people in your life. Your cup will be full and you'll be able to fill up other people. Okay. That goes for your team. That goes for your family. That goes for your spouse, all of them, your friends, but you've got to take care of you. And some of you, that's just what you needed to hear today, is that you've got to stop self-sabotaging and you've got to actually start taking care of yourself. Okay. The other thing that we can do that I think is so important, and this is the part where I think it's very, very vital that you understand who I'm talking to. This is really for those of you in leadership positions. This is really for those of you who have teams, who are very engaged in your business, who this is a daily thing that you're engaging in your business. Some of you need to take a break. And I tell you this every single year, and it is part of how you finish strong, is that you take a break. And it's not a break that you're walking away and you're being irresponsible. That's not what I'm saying. You're taking a break that's intentional, that's well planned, that's well communicated, that's thorough, that's thought through. Now, I personally take a break for 3 to 4 weeks every single year over Christmas. Now, I know that sounds insane, and every time I say it, you guys look at me like, what the heck are you talking about? You've lost your ever-loving mind. I haven't. This is our full-time job. This is what we've done full-time for 13 years. This is the thing. And there's times it feels like it never stops. And at this point in my business, I have really, really healthy boundaries. And we're going to talk a lot about boundaries next year and about how to create and establish healthy boundaries with your team, with your customers. We're going to get to all of that. And we've talked about it before. But even with healthy boundaries, sometimes you just need a break. Breaks and rest are so vital and important for your creativity, for your effectiveness, for your ability to think critically about the work that you do. If you're just in it every day, all day long, you have a really hard time thinking about it big picture. So I don't know what the right amount of time for you to take off is. That's something you need to decide. But the first thing is you need to decide how much time you really want. And here's what I mean. When I say I want you to take some time off, I mean, I don't want you to log into the workstation. I don't want you to communicate with your team. I don't want you to get on your team Facebook page. I'd prefer you don't get on Facebook at all. You should take a break, really. Literally take a break. You don't respond to text messages. You don't respond to emails. There is no emergency. There never has been. There never will be. But the key to all this is that it's well planned and well communicated. I'm going to show you how I do that. So usually this year we've been doing 30 minutes, but I'm going to show you how to do this. So if you're still here and you really want to see how do I take a break and how do I do it responsibly and smart, the first thing you really have to do is you need to decide the time frame. You need to decide a time frame that works for you. I'll tell you personally, for me, the last day I'm working my business is, I'm looking at my calendar, is December 19th. And then I will come back to work on January 11th. So that's basically 3 weeks this year. I'm very excited about it. I'm going to make a lot of soup and read a lot of books and snuggle lots of babies. But I'm already planning right now for those 3 weeks off. And I want to show you a little bit about how I do that. So you may, and I think a lot of this has to do with how long you've been in, what your title is, how big your team is, how much stress this actually takes from your life. You need to evaluate the right amount of time. But I do think it's incredibly significant for you to take a chunk of time that is really off. Like, you plan it, you communicate it, and this is for your customers, your team, all of them. I know all of you are like, how am I going to do it? I'm going to show you. It's all going to be fine. Okay. The key is communication and intentional planning. So if you are on YouTube, I'm going to show you one of the things that I use. I actually use this all the time. This is how I plan my business and organize my business all the time. And I'm showing you this because I've showed it to a few leaders and it's been incredibly helpful to them, which I kind of thought it was dumb. And then they were like, this has really changed my business. And I'm like, oh, wow. Seems very basic, but it's just intentional. So I'm going to show it to you. If you're not on if you're on Facebook, you're not going to be able to see it. You can either go to YouTube and watch later, or you can watch it on YouTube right now. Let me just go ahead and pop this on. Nope. I'm gonna put the link on. I'm sorry, I can't do 3 things at one time. I can't do 2 things at one time. Okay, this is the link for YouTube. Yeah, so if you click on that, that's where we're live and you can see me screen share. So, and if you want to watch it later, that's fine. I'm going to explain it. And so if you just want to pop over there later, that's okay too. So let's see if I can do it. We're going to try. Okay. Oh, isn't that beautiful? That's Mexico. Okay. We're going to go to November. All right. So what you're looking at is a screenshot of the literal paper calendar I used to plan my business. Y'all are going to laugh at me and you're going to think I'm insane. But if you're on Facebook, I'm going to give you this is the flat, cheapo planner I used to plan everything about my business. So basically, if you're on social media and you're planning for social media, this is my content calendar. It's just not for social media. It's for everything else that has to do with my business. I want to walk you through a few things. I'm going to show you 3 different months. This is last month. I'm just going to point a few things out to you that I hope will be helpful to you. So over here on the right-hand side, you can see all of my different kind of what's the word? My symbols, whatever, right? These are all of the things that I use to keep track of what the heck I'm doing with my business. So the top one is Band Post. That's where my team page is. I don't have a team page on Facebook. We're on an app called Band. So that's a post on my team page. You'll see that there's one almost every single day. There wasn't one on the 10th, the 11th, the 26th. So like you can see they're there. If it's got a check mark by it, it means that I scheduled it, planned it. The triangle is a text to my team. The asterisk is a customer text. The circle is a customer email. The heart stands for my first through third generation director's text. The pink is an LTO or a new release. This yellow heart are my dreamer texts. So my dreamers are on my team, and they are the ones that I'm giving all of my attention to. Okay. So they're the ones that I'm doing small group coaching with. They're the ones that I'm sending regular texts to, asking about their goals, checking in on accountability, all of those things. So you'll see 2 Zooms last month for them, and then some texts whenever I was texting them. And then I have a leader text, and then I have a leader Zoom, then online steps to success text, all those things. The washi tape are my text parties. The only kind of parties I'm doing right now are via text using Project Broadcast. If you missed our Project Broadcast training, it is on YouTube and Facebook. I think it's on both. I think it's on both. Anyways, but we talked about text parties. We talked about automation, all of those things. So these are my host names out to the left side of the washi tape of those parties that start on Mondays, who those hosts were, all those things. So that was kind of my November. I'll show you December because I'm in the middle of it. So you can look at that and say, well, like, yeah, that's great. You like, literally, I just took pictures of this right before we started. So I'm showing you my life. So this is me planning December. So in my team, I do a book club every month. We do a suggested book that they can read. Or they can read any other personal or business development book. And we also do a monthly personal development challenge. This month, it's literally for them to send an encouragement to somebody daily. These are the kind of things I do for challenges, like nothing that actually has to do with Scentsy. Call me crazy. It works. My goal in leadership is to develop people and for them to develop and grow personally, because when people grow personally, then their leadership grows and their businesses grow. And so that's what my focus is. And you can actually see that in all of this. So again, you can see all of the communication. So today is what right here. We're on the 17th. Can you see when I move my mouse? Yeah, right? Okay, I think you can. So we're on the 17th. You can see I did an online steps post. That was, oh no, we're on the 10th. I jumped us ahead a month. I jumped us ahead a whole month. So this is where we are. Online steps. Here's the content, finishing strong, business and personal. This was my post on my team page was about online steps. I text you guys that are on my online steps text list that we're going to be live in 10 minutes. I sent a text to my leaders today, and all of that is here. These circles right here, I'm not doing, you'll see there's no text parties right now. I'm not doing any parties this month. I'm doing 13 days of Scentsy deals, basically something you would do in a VIP group if you had a VIP group, but I'm doing it all via text. And so all of my specials are being communicated via text one-on-one. And I'm using those conversations to book parties for January, all of those things. Really, it was a celebration of our 13 years in the business. So that's why it was 13 days of discounts and special things for basically my VIPs. Now, you can also see these purple customer emails. These are all planned and pre-planned emails. So the purple circles are emails. Like I sent one on the 9th that there was still time to order for Christmas delivery. Okay. I'm sending one on Saturday that's about encouragement. And so it's a little seed planted about how we're our personal growth challenge in our team this month is encouragement. And I just wanted to encourage my customers in the midst of this crazy world. So it's literally, there is no sale, like no sell hard ask in this email on the 12th. It's all encouragement. There's not even a link to my website in it. Maybe in the signature, but like not a button, not anything. Okay. When you're sending email or when you're sending text, you also, you want to, hi Bubba, are you going to bed? Come here. I know, because the door's open, so it's so hot. Oh, I love you. You're on video now. Okay. Mm-hmm. Did you shake your vitamins? Okay. Love you, babe. I'll come kiss you when I'm done. You'll probably be asleep. When you're sending email and text, you want all of that communication to be just as intentional and just as planned as the communication you're putting on social media. So the communication you have on social, where you're adding value, where you're encouraging, where you're not always asking for a sell, like that's the same thing that you want to do via email, via text. Okay. So I'm working. So like, this is my last day of work right here, the 18th. Look at all those things that I have planned. Everything right here, except for my team posts, are not planned yet. So you can see I have them planned. November final recognition is going on the 14th. Book club notes are going on the 15th. 16th, I'm going to encourage them to share with each other, because I'm already having a conversation with them about how I'm going to take a break for 3 weeks. They're going to know I'm scheduling posts. They're going to know that they're getting texts from me. They're going to know they're still going to hear from me, but I'm making it very clear that I'm not available, that I'm taking time off. So I've communicated that well already to this point, and I'm going to continue that narrative as the weeks go on so that they know I'm taking some time off. This is why, etc. So the 16th, I'm going to make sure and encourage them. They do a good job of that on my team page, but I really want to reiterate that, right? Sorry. But you can see I have all this other stuff planned. This is a training for my team on a small group for my team on the 14th. I've got an email going out to my customers on the 15th about the last day to order for Christmas delivery. The 16th, I'm sending another email to my customers about the title of this email is the best book I read in 2020. It's not actually about Scentsy. It's more about, I read this really great book. P.S. It's called The Scent Keeper, and all of you should read it. It's about the power of fragrance. It is unbelievable. It's such a great book. But I'm that's the email that's going out to them. And then they'll get an email on the 19th, my customers will, with details about my break. So you can see there's a purple dot there because I have planned to pre-write and schedule the email, but it's not done yet. And then I'll put out a Merry Christmas from our family to yours on the 23rd via email to my customers. These are texts on the 22nd that are going out to my customers, my team, and my leaders on the 22nd. All of this is already done. Okay. You can see down here, this is really, you guys, this is just how my brain works. And I know this is not going to be for all of you, and it's not going to make sense to all of you, and that's okay. And if you're just joining us on Facebook, I'm screen sharing on YouTube. And so if you're like, what is she talking about? That's what's happening. You can see customer emails. These are ideas that I had for emails. So here's my reminder that I need to order. So I'm going to show you a little bit of what I have going on in January. So this is really just where I am right now. I have a whole nother week of work, quote unquote, to get through all of this. I've got a lot to do still in December, and then I want to do all this. So I already know when I want to send emails. Like this 2nd of January, I'll send an email to my customers letting them know that bars are 10% off. Also reminding them that I'm off. They want to order, they can order on the website. Also, I will be planting more seeds about hosting. I already have 2 hosts booked for January. And so that's the other thing I'll do next week is I will have parties that start on the 11th, the day that I come back. So all of that will be pre-scheduled and planned and ready to go. So you can see my customer email ideas right here. This is essentially like if you were on social media creating content, that's what I'm doing. I'm just doing it for email and text. So I want to do this whole rhythm series in January about healthy rhythms and and incorporate products into it. So doing the dishes every night. I actually love to do the dishes. It's really bizarre, but I have a sweet story that I tell about why I love to do the dishes. If you've been to my house, you've probably heard it. But I'll include that story in that email and talk about dish soap. I'm going to talk about diffusers and how we use them at night. And I'll include personal pictures in those emails and all of those things. How we change our product, rest and what that looks like in our home, baths, book club, hosting, ready to go gifts, travel, and how our products incorporate in all those. So I'm basically creating content that I would essentially, you could put on social media, but I'm just not there, that I'll include in email and in text. Does that make sense? But I already have things planned, right, for all of these days, and there will be communication from me all the way through. So I'm going to stop screen sharing. I want to ask if this is helpful. I want to ask for your questions. So this is really how I plan for my time off. Well, let's stop screen sharing. Un momento, por favor. Okay. So questions, comments, does this freak you out? Does it stress you out? Here's the thing, like I said before, it's not, for some of you, it's not going to relate. And here, I know it's on paper. Some of you can do this digital. Like, I know you can do this digitally. I'm not, I need to see it and I need to write it. And that's how it works for me. Do it digital, fine. But the point is, you can intentionally pre-plan and get ahead. Now, here's the other thing. Even if you're not planning on taking a break, you can plan ahead. So one of the conversations and one of the questions I get a lot from my leaders is, how do you do that when you don't know what's coming week to week, right? Like, you don't know what the LTO is going to be. True, I don't. I'm fully 100% taking the plan, like I'm taking a break knowing that if an LTO drops in the middle of it, that I'm going to be oblivious to it, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because I will be a better leader and I will be a better business person in general with the complete time off than if I hopped back in to get one thing in. You need space and time for your brain. I promise you. If you don't make it and you're in a leadership position, you're going to get burned out long term. Okay. What's your advice if you still, after 2 years, almost 3, don't know your goal or dream? Really, I know this might sound crazy. It's not crazy at all. It's not crazy at all. I think there's a lot of people that don't really know what their dream is. And sometimes their goals are just centered around the next promotion or the next incentive or whatever. Like, that's how they're setting their goals. I think you need a break. I think if you take a break and you sit and ask yourself some of those questions, like we have a dreaming worksheet that is somewhere that I should find for you. I'll probably repost it. That just helps you like walk through those questions, like of getting out of that state of complacency. And here's what I want to say. This is not about not being content. That's not what it is. It's about having more purpose and more vision in your life and knowing why you do what you do, why you run this business, why you empower other women, whatever it is. That's not crazy at all. But I think sometimes you need some space away to really just regroup and to spend some time journaling and processing and thinking and being honest with yourself. We are often, and especially those of you that are moms and wives, there's a lot of times that we're not honest with ourselves because we feel like if we chase our dreams, that those things will be selfish. And I believe with everything in me that when you chase the dreams in your heart and you go after those things, that those are the things that can literally change the world. And that may sound drastic and huge, and I'm not meaning to be like grandiose about it. That's not what I'm saying, but that I believe all of us have something to do. I think all of us have light inside of us that burns bright. And it's kind of like if you leave a room, what's the thing that stays behind? That's your legacy, right? That's the thing you burn for. And that's usually what's centered around our dreams, right? And you have to figure out what those things are. you have to do the deep work and say, what do I burn for? A lot of times it's looking at where the attack comes from. Like, so for me, I have this deep desire to empower women to chase their craziest and wildest dreams, because it's one of the biggest places I feel attack in my life, that I feel like those dreams are irrelevant or won't matter or aren't necessary. Like literally some of the conversations I have with myself over the past couple months have been like, it doesn't really matter if I finish that book or not. It doesn't matter. And in reality, if I believe that, I think it's almost blasphemy, like to say that if you've been given a gift and a story, even if it changes one person, it does matter. And I think the same is true for you. It's so easy to make ourselves small. And so I have a tendency to shrink when I get scared, or shrink when I get overwhelmed, or shrink when I feel like it's too big of something to chase, you know? And therefore it's like the thing that I burn for. Like, I want other women to chase the dreams in their heart. I want them to go after those things that they stay up thinking about at night, the things that they keep coming up in their thoughts and in their prayers. Like, that's what I want to help people do. So I didn't really answer your question, but I think you need some time away. I think you need some time to process. Okay, so here's the thing. Some of you said your calendar stressed me out. First of all, I want to be clear. We have over 240 leaders in my organization, a director or above. My team is over 400 people. We have, hold on, 18,000 people in our organization. So the fact that I have, because here's the reality, you wouldn't have all those things on the side. Like, you need customer communication, team community, depending on the size of your team, of your business, you would need customer communication, right? First, everybody would need that. If you have a team, you would need team communication. If you're on social media, you would maybe need social media posts scheduled, or you could take a break from it. Just a crazy, wild idea. You know, I don't know. I don't think anyone's going to die. But that's really it. You like I have extra things on there, but I have extra things on there because we have like extra things to hold. So I think that overwhelmingness of it, it's overwhelming because it's a whole lot of things. It wouldn't be that many things for you. Do you know what I mean? And the reality is you're doing these things every day anyways, or you should be, right? Communicating with your customers, communicating with your team. And you don't need to be communicating with your customers every day. I don't even think that's anywhere near close to true. So don't believe that lie. I think you've got to look at and say, okay, what do I do? And what do I hold myself responsible for? And then how could I get ahead? And how could I plan ahead in that way? Okay, let me look over here. Jennifer, I'm glad you love seeing my schedule. Everybody else was scared of it. Okay, I'm going to answer a couple questions and we're going to wrap up. Amy says, since you don't use Facebook much, do you have a video on how to Zoom live on YouTube? I don't have a video, but I watched one. It was like 5 minutes long, less than that. I would show you right now, but I can't because I don't think I can. I'm going to try, but I'm pretty sure I've tried and I can't. No. Oh, yeah. So hold on. I drink water. So when you're on Zoom, okay, hold on. I need this thing to update to see if you can see this bar. I don't think you can see it. Sorry, there's a delay and I'm waiting. So just like, sorry, still time. You can't see the bar. Nope, you can't see it. Okay, anyways, when you're on Zoom, there's a bar across the bottom and it says security, participants, chat, screen share, record, reactions, and then it has 3 dots and it says more. If you click those 3 dots, then it will pop up stream live on Facebook, stream live on YouTube, or stream live someplace else. I can't remember where. And you can click on one of those. So I'm streaming live on YouTube right now through Zoom. I will say when I tried to do that, I didn't have the 3 dots and I had to Google it. And there was a video, literally, if you just Google, how do I stream live on YouTube from Zoom? There's like a 3-minute tutorial. Okay. Courtney said, can we talk about planning these things ahead of time when we don't know what's coming from Cincy even before our off time? Well, Courtney, that's what I was saying is like, you have to be willing to know that you're going to miss things. You have to be willing to know you're going to miss things. Like there could be an LTO that drops on the 22nd. I doubt it. Maybe. I have no idea. But I have to be willing to say, or the 21st, that's a Monday. I have to be willing to be okay with the fact that I took off on the 19th and that I'm off. And so that can be part of the communication that you have with your customers even is like, lately we've had a lot of new things drop on Mondays. I'm going to take some time off. If you're super interested in whatever might be dropping, be sure to check it on Monday. It doesn't mean you might lose some sales. You might. Also why you have to plan when you want to take a break. Like not everybody needs to take 3 weeks off. Some of you do. But maybe you just need to take a week off, or maybe you need to take 3 days or 4 days or 5 days off. Like what that would do for some of you to really unplug from your business would be astronomical. The distance that you get from taking a break can give you so much perspective. It can literally reawaken the creativity in your brain to help you develop and think of new ways to do things. And I think it's also important that you step away from Facebook while you're doing it, because if you don't, you're going to see it all anyways. I'm talking about a break where you can clear your mind, where you can reset, where you can really take some time to dream, to think about what you want your business to look like, to reimagine the way you want it to work. With my leaders, I talk a lot about like, what's the outcome of what you're doing? Tell me about the outcome of your group page. Tell me about the outcome that you want from the communication that you're having. What's the outcome? And when you have time away and you take a step back, you can really get a better idea of what outcomes you want for your business. And how to best get those outcomes. Is it best to do it in your VIP group? Is it best to do it via text? Is it best to do it? Like, it just gives you some space and time to rethink how you want to do things, to rethink what else you want to dream up. It gives you time to create the things you wish existed. And if you're not away from it, if you don't take a step back, it's really hard to do that. I'm going to finish with this. Once somebody, and I don't know who it was, I'm very sorry. Jackie said, I would love to take a break like this, but your calendar definitely stressed me out. How does your brain not keep checking in on everything while you're away? So a couple things. I want to say, like, the break that I have is very intentional. I don't take a break all of December or all of January, right? It's half of a month into a week of a month, right? And that's very intentional. It's because I'm front loading December and I'm back loading January. I never backload a month except for when I take that time off. So that's very intentional. One. So the time needs to be intentional. So I'm not screwing myself in January and I'm not screwing myself for December. I'll end up with over 3,000 PRV this month before I take a break. And I'm going to feel great about that. I'm going to walk away, right? And then I'm going to come into January knowing I already have parties booked and I already have things planned and I've already had communication with my team and my customers. So I'm not like starting completely fresh. But I think that the way that honestly, like I used to have control issues. I still struggle with that sometimes. But when I had my mastectomy 4 years ago, I think the Lord did a lot of work in my heart to show me that the world's going to turn whether you're up and moving or not. And I think I learned that too about my team and about my business and about my customers and all of those things. It forced me to take a break. I took a 6-week break, like a literal 6-week break during my surgery. because I had to. Now, granted, could I have been online, all those things? Yes, but really, like, I needed to. Like, there was just so much else going on in me emotionally and internally. Like, I really did need the space and the time. And so I'm glad that I planned for it and that I was ready for it. But I think that there comes a little bit of arrogance. And I'm not saying this about you. I'm saying this in general, that we all have a little bit of arrogance in us to think that if we're not engaged, if we're not involved, if we're not leading our teams, if we're not X, Y, and Z, that it's all going to fall apart. And that's just honestly not true. It's kind of like when you go on vacation with your spouse and you get away from your kids for a little bit, like, they survive and they live and everybody's okay. And everybody is happier to see each other when they come back together, right? Like, I remember the first time I left my kids, it was for a trip, an incentive trip. And I felt like the worst mom in the world. Like, I felt like surely this can't be okay. Like, this cannot be okay. And it was one of the sweetest gifts, just as a mom, like, and not even just for the time away, but for when I got back. It's just like that. It's exactly like that with your team, with your customers, with your desire to be involved in the business. That's what it feels like. It was like, man, it felt good to take a break, and I cannot wait to get back. Like, I can't wait to dive back in. I have all these ideas. I have all these things I want to do. Like, it's the same thing. So you just have to know that the world's going to keep spinning. And if you set yourself up well and you prepare well, it's going to all be fine while you're gone. Okay. Some of you could literally probably front load your December so much and then just say, I'm out. Really, I could do that at this point. I really could. My team would be fine. My customers would be fine. Everyone would be fine. If I just said, hey, I'm unavailable from the 19th until January 11th. Like, I'm out. Here's my website. Here's our team page. Here's you can chat with somebody on consultant support. Like, I could probably do that and it would be okay, but I don't want to. I want to be engaged. I want to help them be forward thinking, and I want to service my customers. But I want to do it in a way where they know I'm taking a break. My customers will know fully, very clearly, that if I send an email and it's about X, Y, and Z, that's great, but they can't email me back to get an order. Like, if they want to order, they have to go on the website, which my customers have been trained that way lately anyways. So it'll just be reiteration of that, but it's really all about communication. So we're going to close because we've been long tonight, and I'm so sorry this was long, but I hope that it was helpful. And the first part might've been what you needed. The second part might've been what you needed. It was kind of two totally different things, a little bit, but also the same. But here's what I want you to know. I think we finished the year strong, not by shrinking, but by rising, by standing up, by walking in the lane, running the race that we've been called to run, by not hiding, by not being complacent, by actually being honest about what we want and the desires of our heart and choosing to go after those things. Honest, this is where I'm at. I don't want to shrink anymore. I don't want to play it small. It doesn't serve anybody. It serves other people when we actually stand into the gifts and the callings that we have, when we actually shine the light that we are supposed to be in the world. So I want to encourage you to do that these last few weeks while also taking care of you first. Remember, you cannot pour from an empty cup. There's a lot of people who think you're really great, that you have a lot to offer to, but you can't give them anything if you're not taking care of you first. So I love you guys. I really hope this was helpful. Lacey, hi. Well, let's go have coffee and then you can hug my neck, because I would love that. I hope this was helpful to you. Next week, we're going to be forward thinking. We're going to be talking about how to intentionally design your business for next year. I'm going to ask you some pretty reflective questions about this year. We're going to do some kind of hard work. So I'm going to need you to come ready to do some work, kind of workshop style a little bit. And we're going to do some reflection and then some forward planning into 2021. We know that we can't, obviously, we can't control everything, hence the lesson from 2020. But there are things that we can control, and the way that you run your business and the way that you lead and the way that you chase after the dreams in your heart are things you can control. And so we're going to talk about all that next week. I hope that you will join us. We'll be back live at 8 o'clock Central Time. Hope you guys have a great night, and I'll talk to you next week. See you later.